part of it.
Y me estaba diciendo que para él estaba muy confortable en Oklahoma, pero él decidió que quería restablecer una relación con su papá, importante, porque especialmente, and I say this to you, Matt, there are differences youth-wise, right? When I'm growing up in my generation, we had divorce was not something that happened a lot. In your generation, as a millennial, you see divorce, and you as younger people have grown accustomed to that. You understand it, right?
Yeah.
Visitation, or maybe you've also witnessed the disputes that occur between your parents, which I'm sure is not sometimes very nice to hear those that anger that sometimes happens between people. Pero él decidió restablecer esta relación con su papá y también decidió venirse a Houston, Texas, una ciudad más grande, y para ver establecerse, ¿no? A ver qué eran las oportunidades que existían aquí. Y esa es parte de la discusión también de este programa. Va a ser parte de la oportunidad de cuáles son las diferencias aquí en esta cultura que existe en el momento dentro las personas menos de 40 años de edad y luego las personas que tienen más de 40 años de edad. Sí hay diferencias. And part of the reason for this program, and we're going to get into it at different times, is that there are differences in terms of mindset between people that are 40 years and younger and those that are 40 years and older. One of the things that we talk about is that we know now statistically that practically 50% of all marriages end up in divorce. And in growing up in my time period, that statistic was maybe a third. It was not very significant, under 20% in that time period, because you stuck it out. And today we have people, and I'm not saying it's good or bad. It is what it is, right? Different dynamics. And so how do we understand those dynamics between our two age groups as well too? And that becomes important on that side too. So that's one of the objectives that we talk about as well on this show. So I'm going to ask Matt, what is then he came to Houston, Texas. What is the biggest difference that you saw? Now, by the way, interesting. I said this. He looks Latino, but he has the heart of a Latino. But he's not Latino. He happens to be biracial. I forgot to say that. Matt tiene el corazón de un latino, parece latino. Muchas personas creen que es mexicano, puertorriqueño, colombiano, Cuban, Cubano. He's had everything. People think he's everything. But he happens to be biracial. Es parte blanco, parte afroamericano, negro, ¿ok? Y es, como dicen aquí, biracial. He's biracial. And 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 I don't know if you've noticed a difference given that context um, between Oklahoma and then coming down here to Houston, Texas. How were you welcomed? I guess is the reality is down here.
Yeah. So first off, I want to say, as far as the Latin heart and things like that, I definitely have a heart for some good old homemade tamales. That works perfectly for me. My dad was black, my mother was white. I came out Mexican. That's just how it goes sometimes. And so, you guys, as far as moving down here to
No sé
Houston,
si oyeron eso. Su papá es afroamericano, su mamá es blanca, pero él salió mexicano, dice, ¿ok? Y le encantan los tamales. Le puedo mandar tamales a él, ¿ok? Le encanta eso.
so my Spanish isn't too good, or I would try to interpret it. So coming down here to Houston, Texas, definitely much, much bigger than where I'm from. But the people here are very nice. Not necessarily downtown. Everybody's moving pretty fast. It's kind of get out of my way, that sort of thing. But as soon as you come down to some of the more local areas and you meet some of the people, just really good people, you get that southern hospitality, just really nice people. And I've really I've really enjoyed my stay here in Houston, Texas. It's hard at first whenever you leave your family and your friends, but at the same time, as far as growing in a place like Houston, Texas, and starting to do things in Houston, Texas, and see all that Houston, Texas has to offer, it's really a beautiful place. And I can see a good future here.
Okay. Y Matt, primero cambiándose a Houston, Texas es una ciudad muy grande, ¿no? Pero también del pueblo, de las gentes que ha conocido aquí. Obviamente en parte central quizás son más ocupados en diferentes cosas, pero en general todo el mundo aquí es muy amable y le gusta la oportunidad que le presenta vivir aquí en Houston, muy diferente que Oklahoma, muy obviamente, pero todavía se mantienen sus relaciones con sus amigos y amigas. One thing I want to say, and I would say this, una cosa muy interesante, para mí, hemos discutido esto con Matt, es muchos de sus amigos y amigas viven sus vidas en ver lo que hace Matt, okay? I say this, and I've said this to you, it's very interesting that many of your friends who have stayed in Oklahoma City kind of live their life and their dreams and their adventures to the things that you're doing, the adventures that you're doing, and you've had various adventures. Every day for you is an adventure.
Oh,
You do new things, right?
most definitely, most definitely. I mean, me and Joe, we've done a lot of different things. We've gone and seen things, gone to, we've had a lot of laughs, had a lot of good times. We've driven Ferraris, then just done amazing things. We've had a lot of fun here in Houston, Texas. So most of my great experiences are hanging out with Joe and just really seeing all that Houston, Texas has to offer. It's really just been an awesome experience to meet Joe, to really go out because he has all these great connections and he really has a heart for people. It's just amazing. He doesn't talk about it, he doesn't pat himself on the back. He shows you through his actions day by day. And it's just been amazing to meet a guy like that because it's making me grow as a person individually. Um, but yeah, it's been awesome in Houston.
Y le encanta estar aquí en Houston y obviamente yo digo esto también para él. Es en conocerlo hemos empezado a hacer muchas cosas, pero eso es el objetivo, ¿no? De la vida, conocer personas, hacer cosas. Y como dijo Muhammad Ali, y disculpe porque cuando estoy hablando en español se me olvida de decir estas cosas en inglés. And excuse me, sometimes when I'm speaking in Spanish, I forget that I have to stop and say these in English. Pero como dijo Muhammad Ali, piénsalo, si estamos en 24 horas por día, normalmente estamos durmiendo 8 horas por día, ¿no? 8 horas. Y luego nos queda otros, que 24, 24 minus 8 is what? 16 hours, 16 horas. Y luego una hora para despertarnos, una hora para comer, nos vamos a ir a trabajar normalmente por otros 8 horas, 8 hours of work again, so that's 8 and 8 is 16. Then 16 and 24, that leaves us then what? Another 8 hours. 8 horas menos dos de comer, ir. ¿Qué estamos haciendo, huh? Afuera de trabajar? ¿Qué estamos dando? Y esas son lo que me motiva muchas veces y de hacer las cosas que yo hago. Y no los hago porque quiero un conocimiento o un premio ni nada. Eso es lo que me dice mi fe, ¿no? Y también tengo uh, la, la, uh, el ejemplo de mis padres, porque ellos estaban listos a ayudar a personas en cualquier momento. Muy importante esos ejemplos que dieron mis padres. Very important what my parents gave me, that feeling of welcoming, of love, of giving back, of being there to help. And that began with my grandfather, who was um, a simple farmer out in Fort Bend County, but he was there when people needed money, and it wasn't great big amounts of money. But in that time, the Mexican American, the Mexican, I'll call it Mexican, the Mexican couldn't walk into a bank to go get money. If you were black, you couldn't go into a bank to go get money. You were laughed out of there. So you had to do it within your own community. I know you've talked about that. Your father in Kentucky, right? It was a different environment. Maybe you still need to learn a little bit more about some of the challenges that they went through in their own life. That might be of
Yeah.
interest at some point to hear those stories. But it was a different time, but they did it. They were able to do that in terms of communities and give back. Mi abuelo, si personas necesitaban dinero, él estaba ahí para ayudar a la persona, ¿no? y, um, y, um, y todo eso muy, muy importante. All those things very, very important. So we've covered a lot of areas. It's the first show, like I said, so I apologize for us covering. I guess because I'm so excited, I don't know when to shut up. When I don't even know how long we've been talking, to
A
be
lot to
quite
talk
frank.
about.
And we'll try to be more focused in some of our next shows. I'm just learning the system as well too, and this is part of a UStream broadcaster, where I can connect this to Facebook, where I connect this to Twitter, and all of our two viewers out there. Thank you. I'm excited that we have some viewers, um, and and we'd love to hear from you as well too, in terms of what we're doing, what we can discuss. Um, the But the important thing is, like I said, lo importante de este programa es, va a ser algo para discutir temas, para mejorarnos, para crear relaciones dentro de diferentes comunidades. That's the goal of this show, is to create relationships between different communities, the Black community, our white brothers, our African American, whatever you call yourself, Latinos, right? Because if we don't do that, and that's what's been, I firmly believe this as being part of this country, is and having traveled all around the world, when I come back to the United States, I will freely admit I breathe easier. And I've been to many parts of the world, but it's a better feeling. I don't know why. Maybe part of it is, I guess, the old saying, the best place to sleep is your own bed, maybe, or something like that. Maybe that's part of the reason. But just in general, we know what we can do here in our own backyard, right? We have freedom of speech. We can do this. If we were in China, we would be censored with regard to what we're doing here and what we're talking about. If we were possibly in some Latin American countries, in Mexico, in Venezuela, certainly, where people are struggling right now, in Cuba, we would be censored. And possibly there would be someone knocking at our door right now, or waiting for us if we opened our door to say, gentlemen, come with us, and escort us to a nice little prison. Or if they gave us the benefit, maybe they would go ahead and shoot us right then and there. So let's value that liberty. Tenemos que dar gracias a la libertad que tenemos de ser parte de este país. Y necesitamos también participar. That's the other thing. We need to participate. We cannot be complacent. We have to get out and vote. We have to get out and be part of our society. And it sounds so simple, and you hear it over and over. But folks, if you don't do that, believe me, I've seen that. You let other people make decisions for you. And it might not so be. I'm willing to let Matt make decisions for me, but God knows, maybe it's not someone not as nice with that heart of gold, that Matt has making those decisions. Someone that is more jaded, and so por esa razón tenemos que votar, tenemos que participar para influir el futuro que queremos. Y esa oportunidad nos da este país. Y tenemos que pelear para las libertades que nos da este país también. So once again, we've covered a variety of areas. I think we're almost at an hour or so. We've been talking for so long. To tell you the truth, I don't know how long we've been talking. But once again, I just want to repeat, this is the Not So Average Joe Show. It's our first airing. Es la primera oportunidad que tenemos de dar este programa. Y vamos a continuar a hablar de diferentes temas, de la política, de educarnos, de la salud, de educación, de la física, todo, todo, todo. This is the first show. We're going to be covering different topics. Let's talk about the aging process. How can we keep fit? How can we do things to better our lives, to maintain ourselves? Let's remember something: sugar sometimes is not our best friend. Why? Especially in the Latino and the African American community, where diabetes is the highest levels in our communities. So let's recognize that. But let's understand that, but let's do something about that too. Let's do something about that too. And Matt has some great workout tips and diet tips. that are important, and we're going to be discussing those things. He'll introduce you to Lashonda at some point. I think maybe there's a good friend of his named Lashonda that she's just dynamic. She's just dynamic. But ese es el objetivo del programa, de comunicarnos, ¿no? Por esa razón digo que no es normal este programa. Va a ser en inglés, en español, y vamos a continuar. Vamos a recibir mensajes por Twitter, por Facebook también. También Facebook, yo creo que es Joe Compián, si me olvida el nombre, pero porque soy nuevo. Apenas empecé en Facebook hace 3 semanas. We have a link to Facebook, and I'll make sure that happens. I apologize. I'm a new user to Facebook, believe it or not, and it's only because of this program and that I'm there for, I think, just for the past 3 weeks. And thanks to the wonderful family members and friends that are part of the friends there. It reminds me. Facebook reminds me of my mom, and my sister Sandy can probably remember this. In the old farm that my grandfather had in Fort Bend County, there was the party line. Había en la finca de mi abuelo años. um, Había un teléfono, pero el teléfono tenía una línea que se llama la línea de fiesta, yo creo sería party, de diferentes personas, porque era una línea, pero no era una línea privada. Había diferentes familias en esa línea, como un árbol, ¿no? Como un árbol. Y línea de árbol, más bien diría en español, a party line. Y, y uno, si quería hacer una llamada, necesitaba a ver si había otra persona en la línea. Y si no había persona en la línea, uno empezaba a discutir, a hablar. Pero la realidad era que otras personas en ese árbol podían oír la discusión que uno tenía. Huh? The party line was a single line. It's kind of like a big tree, right, in different branches. But there wasn't a private line. And the reality was that if you wanted to make a call, you picked up the phone and you wanted to see if it was not, no one was on it. And if not, then you'd make your call. But the reality was, anybody else on that tree, on that party line, could just pick it up and listen to what was going on, right? That's Facebook for me. Everybody can talk and see what you're doing, right? I'm amazed. I can see where somebody is if they have the right settings. That I understand. You've got to put the right settings, right? But I can see that they're eating at so and so restaurant, or they're doing this or doing that. I'm not quite that bold, I'm still, there's a private side to me, but because you'd probably see me at Dunkin' Donuts all the time. I got to keep away from that. I wouldn't be bad. But that's kind of what Facebook, and I'm learning that, and there's a link on here too. Va a haber una conexión con Facebook aquí también, que pueden ver el programa, yo creo. Y agradezco la oportunidad de hablar con ustedes con este primer programa, The Not Your Average Show, el show de José, que no es muy normal. Y agradezco a Matt. I thank you, Matt, for being part of this special
Thank you,
initial
Dad.
program, right? It wasn't planned, but I said, let's go for it. And that's what life is.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's go for it. And once again, we're successful if we know what we want to do, and we're trying to do that. We know what we want to do. We want to impact people. Make our lives better in terms of our ability to communicate. De tener éxito en la vida es saber lo que queremos hacer. Y eso es parte de este programa, ¿no? De empezar esa discusión, crear relaciones. We know what we want to do. We, we're having fun doing it. Tenemos que tener gozar, ¿no? De tener alegría haciéndolo. Y aquí tenemos alegría en esto. And so we have fun doing it. And we can pay for the trip. Podemos hacerlo, podemos pagar. No estamos pidiendo dinero para poder hacer eso. Lo podemos hacer. We can pay for the trip y luego no estamos tratando de herir alguna persona. We're not trying to hurt anybody. And that's the last thing in terms of success. And so that's our goal here with the Not Your Average Joe show. It's going to be from different locations. Like I said, I do tend to travel. Later this week, God willing, I'll be in Laredo, Texas. And maybe I'll try to broadcast from somewhere along the border and kind of visualize a 20-foot wall that somebody wants to build over there, right? And And let's talk about that. Let's talk about what that means. Let's talk about how that makes me feel when I stop and think about someone that's out there articulating that particular position. And once again, but we want to do that in a respectful manner. We're not here to create any hate. Uh, we can disagree on different things. Matt and I will disagree on different things, but we can still continue to respect each other. We can still continue to love each other. And that ultimately, at the end of the day, is the important thing, is to continue loving each other. And that's what God wants us to do, I think. Eso es lo que tenemos que hacer al fin, es continuar a amar, a respetarnos, y eso es lo que Dios nos quiere que haga, que amar. Continuar. And once again, thank you to our 2 or 3 viewers that we had here for our initial show. We'll try to build that up. Thanks a lot. Pura vida, as my friends in Costa Rica say, which is this live life, live large, I guess. Maybe the rappers say live large, huh? Live large. Your brother Nate would say that, huh? Live large. Live large, Nate. Well, until our next program, I'm going to try to do this as I get better and more interested. And hopefully every day there'll be an hour that I can devote to this. But certainly part of this has been recorded and you can see it again. And also give me your feedback. Your 2 viewers, I don't know who you are, but on Twitter, I'd love to hear from you, and or Facebook as well too, and see what we can do, and issues and topics that we can also address as well. Well, once again, thank you for your time. Gracias por su tiempo. Que Dios nos cuide a todos. Well, may God bless all of us and our families and nuestras familias. And more importantly, and I say this sincerely, let's God bless this whole country and this world. We need blessings. We need faith. Y que Dios nos bendiga todo este país y todo el mundo. Necesitamos fe. We need faith. And until our next show, we love you. Take care. Bye.